Yeah, good morning, everybody. Um, I just want to give us a quick look into what the chart is and what to expect, what the price has done so far. We have been on a bearish move, and the first time we saw, this push, that was about 3 weeks ago, and I told us that the price is still corrective and still correcting. Of course, these may be potentially one of the very the early signs of our movement to the upside. But of course, seeing the way this candle closes, you can see the wick on top here, uh, still tells me that the bears are still pushing the price to the downside. If this had closed properly with like a tiny dot like you are seeing here at the end here, or at the end here, if you are seeing, or at the end tiny bits, if you had closed like a tiny bit to the upside here, then you can say on the weekly that connotes a proper push or a change of trend or a long correction, so to the upside. So what we are expecting at this level, we are still seeing the sign of correction to the, we are seeing sign of correction on the weekly time frame, and most probably we'll still be going down. It looks most likely that we are still going to be breaking the bottom. It's not impossible, and we will still need to see a second candle from the weekly perspective to close in the bullish with a bullish signature before we can say that okay, we are ready to push to the upside. And that is what I'm just showing us here. So all these are still recipe of correction and movement to the downside. There's no momentum yet to change the tide, but I haven't said that these are dangerous levels, that anything can happen anytime. So you don't want to commit too much of your funds, and you don't want to take too much of a risk. But we try to look at, before now, when you trade support and resistance and trend lines and trend support, trend resistance, you see all these move here as consolidation on this time frame, consolidation, consolidation, consolidation. But now we know that what we call consolidation, they are actually, corrections that are expected, which is with three and with four of a thing. So with four and, and with three, sorry, with four and with two and with four, these are corrections that we see and we call, consolidation. So with analysis and structure, is helping us to know how to trade what we perceived, as a consolidation. So let me go inside of a one day time frame quickly to see what price action now. So seeing this also on the daily, for anybody that does not know how to interpret, you will see these as a doji, the first doji and the second doji. And with this move, we tend to think that, okay, it's a move to the upside. Are we going up or not? That is what you'll be guessing. So we're going to look into that. Is it that we're done with correction here? Are we swinging to the upside or not? That is very important for us to know. But again, seeing the way Amana this one closed tells me that there's still pressure from the bears and it has not closed properly. We need to see this close with a whole lot of momentum, with the edge sealed like a dot here to signal that, okay, they are going and pushing further higher up. So now we need to see all of that. It's even on a 4 hour now. So it will now appear as more confusing for us to see. You can see what is happening on the 4 hour. When you see this, you think it's a metal candle. We saw this and we came down almost touching our TP and price went up. And this is what the price is doing now. So we are going to break it down and to know where exactly are we going with the price. So in trying to do that, I want you to lend me your ears and listen attentively. And at this level of price action, you don't want to take too much of a risk. Let me quickly go inside of the weekly candle again, and let me bring all those, my lines to see. Now, this is what we have on the weekly candle. And I did the last week tell us when we had this break, a 1 and a 2, and that we are inside of a 3, and there is a long wave of 3 which we are about completing. I would say this is potentially a 5, and a 4 has been completed up here, and we need to break to finish a 5. And I told us that a 5 in this regard may do something which you have to, watch closely. We need to break out of this to say that we are now going to correct a bigger 4 or changing the trend. So that is what we are open to see, that the day we break out of this trend line, this one I'm touching here, then we are going probably to have a bigger correction to 4 or change the trend. We'll see whatever it gives us. But we still have to be very careful at this level. This level, this movement in between, locked in between this space is not to even break accounts. So you must know that. Now, how do we, like I changed all of these last week to say that this is now a 3-4. If I may recap, and I don't actually need to recap, you go and watch now. Again, how I got here last week, you can see the low here, the low of the RSI as it matches with 3 here, and the 4 to this side. And you can see, and I said that we need to break this in the weekly to say we have changed. We are still checking that it has not broken it with all the movement. We need to break to the upside on the weekly before you can say, and that's why I, quickly put all those signs there, weekly and the daily, and we need to break here on the daily. So we've not done all of that. So now to look at RSI, I want you to pay close attention to look at RSI. So this is a 3 here. On the weekly. So this is the 3 here. You can see the 3 as it formed here. So that's the highest point. And even the 3 of the 5 here is still a bit higher up than the 3 we had. So the 3 here that we just did recently is on the purple line, whereas this is a bit lower here. So we've not made a lower low. And we may not made a lower low. We may not. If indeed we are finishing the 5th wave here, this might be the lowest and the next lowest. And the one that is coming that is here, I wouldn't expect it to break the purple line as well. It might go low, but a bit above this level of the RSI on the weekly. That is what we'll get at the end of the day. So we are almost at the tail end. That's what I'm saying. Now, if we look at the daily time frame to see what RSI has given us as well on the daily, it's going to be a quick review on the daily. So on the daily time frame, so we look at the blue from that space also. This is the weekly. So this is what we have. So we are still below these divergence now. So the divergence, this one is in broken line. It's, divergence coming to the downside, which we need to break. And we saw another little reaction here. And this is kind of a flat, an horizontal line, which once you break through these on the daily, you know that there's no going back down. So that is what we are seeing now. Let's see where we expect price to on this time frame. Now let me go to the weekly time frame. What we expect, or where we expect price to play. Now on the weekly time frame, now on the weekly time frame of this play, this is 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4, where you have this golden yellow. So where do we expect 5 to end really? So where we expect 5 to end is from this 3 to 4, and it will be in a divergence. Now, this 3 to 4, where we expect price to end, really, if I may change something, let me quickly change this to green to mark those levels where we expect price to change or to end. So this, which is 92,358, which is the last place, but I wouldn't really expect price to get to that, to 92, if it's going to end in a divergence, really. If price should go that way, then that means most likely we are going to see a long fall to the upside, then we'll now finish with 5 to the downside. That may happen. So, or these, which is a 1, 2, 3, at least a 1, 2, 3, which is at this level. So those are the areas that we expect price to reach, which is 94,182 and 92,35. I gave 94 at some point based on what we are looking at the higher time frame, but we have to still see the structure on the lower time frame before we begin to anticipate. If I go inside of the daily as well to look at that level again, to mark the accuracy, at this level. Okay, I think there's a slight, it's not touching it quite, not quite touching it here. So I think, yeah, more like that. So I can see that low there. So let's see. Inside of the daily, now inside of the daily, so 123, not bad. And okay, these has pushed a bit up. So now we can also look into the side of the 4-hour to see what we have again. Let's quickly shift to 4-hour to see what we are going to get instead of the 4-hour. Instead of the 4-hour, let's see what we're going to get. Inside of the 4-hour, oh, that's one thing about price. When you are going lower, you begin seeing fine edges. I think it was right where it was, considering this red. It was fine where it was. Fine where it was, so we don't have to make that changes. 4-hour, yeah, it was fine where it was. Okay, so let's now look at it to fine tune where it ought to be from 3 to 4. From 3 to 4. So, okay, it's okay, it's still okay. I think it's still okay. Yeah, it's still okay. So these are the levels we expect price. Now, what exactly do we think is happening now? We said this, most likely it's a correction like a 4, and we are going to see a 5. Now, this one came down rather correctively like the first wave. So we should be seeing this forming an ending structure for us, in as much as the bigger picture is also forming an ending structure. Let me show you the bigger picture first before I come to the now, this is the bigger picture of an ending structure, which is 1, 1, and a 2 after the 3-4 movement. So 1, a 2, and a 3, and a 4 of the ending structure. So on the higher time frame, we need one more leg to the downside before we move forward. And that one more leg may start around this area at this level or a bit below this area before we push to the upside. So that is what we are saying. So on the higher time frame, we are seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, and so we are looking for the last movement. Now on the lower time frame, it is not so, because we're now inside of the 5, which is the last leg, which we are going to do also an ending structure. Now, marking this ending structure on this time frame now, since we have done a 3 and this is a 4, so we are going to be marking an ending structure also here. That is what I'm saying. Now, marking of this ending structure here, I want us to pay attention to this. What has happened here? You know, is this a 1 and 2 situation that we have here? Or is it a 3 and 4 situation that we're going to do a 5? The fifth way that we have here. So we are going to look at that because everything has to align. It has to align. So what I'm saying is that whatever we're going to see here, it's very important for us. Whatever we are seeing in this middle is very important for us to analyze what price is going to do. If I may change it slightly. How do I change it slightly? If I pick that, okay, let me pick that for us. So we are going to see this inside of a 1 hour. So we're going to see this inside of a 1 hour. We need to pay attention here to know what we are getting. Are we going to see these as a 1 and the movement here as a 2? To do a 3 to the downside, to do a 4 and finish a 5 inside this 1 hour and 4 hour time frame to finish this ending structure? Is it just one of it and the 2 of it? Are we going to do 3? Or is it that we have done a 3 and a 4 and we're going to do a 5? So we're going to see all of that. And unfortunately, this is where we entered. And because of the mess that the price was doing in the middle, I asked us to close. But after seeing this structure, I can see price moving more to the downside and nothing that we're going to go further up. I don't see us going further up with this structure that I'm seeing here now. I don't see further up. I see that we are moving to the downside. So let's now look at what we have wave for wave. It's very important we know that. Inside of what we term here as, let me quickly change something. Let me change that to a 1. Okay. So I want to label it for us to understand. So it's very important that we see this and we don't take, you don't want to over risk at this level. Otherwise you get your fingers burnt. You don't want to over risk at this level of the price. Anything can change quickly and so quickly, so quickly. Now, this is what I think here. This is what I think here. That inside of that, I can as well label this one as a big one. So I finished that 1. I can as well label that as that. So now, how do I come about this? Of course, we know from here to here, what extension do we have up? Because it has to align from here, from where 1 came. Now, that is almost 61.8. Once it has broken 50 above, so it's good as 1. It qualifies as with 1, 2 situation. So this one qualified as with 1 and 2 inside that time frame. Now, when we see that as with one and with two situation, we are going to be seeing of a three of it. So of a three of it, this one does it qualify as a three situation? So let's look at it with one and two or three situation. So from the low of one to the height of one, back to the height, the end of two here. So I think I just messed it up now. From the beginning of one, rather. From the beginning of one to the end of one. Okay. To the height of two, which is the end of two. So it approximately, a wave three. A wave three, approximately. So that is what we are getting now, approximately a wave three, which may be truncated, but it has not, even though it has crossed here now. So we are paying attention to this one and not what is happening here. Even though this one has crossed 161.8, we are paying attention here. So even with this itself, is still telling us that we are going to see more upside, but I'm paying attention to what is happening here, which appears that this three was a bit truncated. So it will take our trend line on this time frame to measure here. So this trend line seems to have been broken to the upside here, which means that the internal structure of this particular, this is one and a two situation. And instead of this with three now, we have one and two and three. The three ends there and the four at this point. So the four ending at this point and the five ending here. Is this place a three? Is this place a four? Now we can see that price is higher here, price is lower here. So let's bring out the RSI to confirm if that is a three. Now, looking at the RSI here at this point of a three, so you can see that indeed is the lowest here. You can see this point of a three, you can see is the lowest here. And even though this one made a lower low here of five, so at that point of a lower low, you can see there is a divergence. So that clearly tells me that's a three and a 4-5. So here, that's a divergence. Even though price made lower low, but RSI tells you is up. So a three and a four, and a four here and a five here. So this means that that wave had been completed. Now we're now seeing a move here. This move here is not going to be, is it going to be like a four, another four? We don't expect another four. Once you have a one broken, that means this wave is complete. Then we should be expecting a two of a bigger time frame. Is that a two? Another thing it could be, let me show us. Another thing it could be, once we do this, and we call this a one and a two. So if the whole of this is a three, because this move here can actually take this one to be a three. Because if you finish the inside of this three, you can now see this as inside of four and a five. You have to look at the possibility of what could come. Because once you break out of a one, a two, this sequence is finished technically. But if you're going to have a bigger four, it could be a bigger four here and a five to completely finish this trend. So which means that this five here will still push higher than this three here because it's an ending diagonal. So let me see that as well, if it gave us that at that level. So this, if we take this as a five, you can still see what is giving us like this. But a sequence had been broken here. And you can see if you draw this up here, that sequence is broken by this consolidation. So this consolidation in itself, what exactly is it giving us? So we're going to look inside of that consolidation and see what it's giving us. And this is where we have to be very careful in trading. Now, After this 5, I can see this movement as an A, and this one as a B, and this one as a C. So that is what I can see. So which means that, is it that is a 2? Is it a 2 that we are seeing now? Is it a 2 situation or a 4 situation in respect to the whole structure? So we are going to look at that. Now, what I'm trying to say now is that A, B, and a C, and a C. So we are going to look at that. An a B, and a C. We are going to see what structure we are looking at in the middle here to know if it's a 2 or if it's not a 2 or a 4. Because once you move a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we have ended that. Is it a big 4 to finish a 5? Or is it like a 2 to the whole structure? So we're going to see what that is going to give. The way to do that is this. Just permit me to do that, to draw this. These are short, so we're going to be marking those levels. There's the first level. There is a second level of this low. So this is another level of this high. So this is another level here. Another level here of the C. So what do we have? So I will be changing these. That's the bigger structure of a 2, and we'll see what happens thereafter. So we're going to pay attention to what is happening here. So let's first see the kind of correction A, B, and a C that we have in here. So if this is an A, this to the downside is, this is 1, 2, 3. And this had gone below 1 to 3. It reacted at about 138, close to 141. So definitely, if you're going to see this, a structure of a B that terminated with this kind of a spike, it's likely, and going up here, it's the only thing we can think of is an expanded flat. If we add this move here, which we could have termed as a 4, if this one is a 4 and it has finished the fourth correction, 1, 2, 3 to the fourth side, and this one coming down here, the only thing it could be here is that, are we finishing 5 here? Are we starting another structure here? But it doesn't look like that. This looks like a structure, a new structure, a structure, and a structure to see more downside. So we're going to be careful to analyze this. So this one is within 141. And so this one, movement to the upside would only stall at 123. Anything outside 123, invalidate this as a possible expanded flat. So when we look at that possibility of an extended flat, so from this level to A, and to this side. Now, this has not given me an expanded flat that I want to see. So I'm kind of still a bit worried in terms of what the price may do. So I'm kind of a bit worried in what the price may do, because it's almost at 100 here. And for this to have gone past 141, if it has stalled at 123 here, then I would say this 100 is perfect. But because of what this had done, I'm still not that comfortable to say I would have wanted price to stall around this area for me to sell. However, would have wanted me for price to go further up around this area if it's going to be an extended flat. I'm not quite comfortable seeing this as an extended, sorry, and as an extended flat. I'm not quite comfortable seeing that as an extended flat. That's what I'm saying. I would have probably, if it's a running flat, yes, it could have been a running flat, then this wouldn't have pushed close to 141. It would have stalled at 123, and 100, yes, could have made it a running flat. But at this level of 141 here, if it's going to be, it won't stall at 100, it will push to 123 to make it an extended flat. I'm still a bit not comfortable with what price I've done here. So now, with this correction in the middle now, I'm not quite comfortable. That is what I'm saying. I'm not quite comfortable. That is what I'm saying. And if we take this one as a 3, the O3, this wave 3, if this one is 1, a 2, and if you say, okay, wave 3 stalled here, and this is the end of wave 5 situation, if we're going to see that as a possible scenario, then we should have seen a move from the end of 3 to a 4 situation here, ending at least at 123 here, which is perfect also, because this is 123. So this could have actually been the end of wave, the old wave. So this also marks it. It's good because it's stalling within 123 and 161.8, which is good for price to say, okay, the all of this is 5 here, which will still mark it. So this may be a big 4 that ended the 5 proper here. So if that is the case, we should be seeing a wave 2 to the upside. That is what I'm saying. And if this had finished price here properly, and we want to see a wave 2 situation, we should be calling for the price from this end to this new low. And in that kind of situation, these had not even broken 50%. Because it has not broken 50%, I can't call this a wave 2 yet. It's still playing under a wave 4. Still playing under a wave 4. It's everything is still fishy. It's still playing under a wave 4. It's still playing under a wave 4. And one has to be very careful what the price wants to do. And if I take it from here, from a 2 here to a 5 here, which is at this line, price appears with a 50%. So obviously, if you take this one as the end of that internal structure of 3, which is still correct for me, if I can still take it as a structure of 3, which is still correct for me, price had broken 50 to the upside, which means that we are not in wave 4 of this structure anymore. We are not in wave 4 of this structure anymore. So I don't want to trade it. So you can understand why I said you should let us just get out of it. Because of this structure, if this one had been a 3 of here, and if is out of it already, because this maybe has just been a 3 and a 5 had ended here, So, and if this one is now a new 4, a bigger 4 for a 5, that means we should be with two situations to the upside. That's what I'm saying. So instead of this one being an A, this would now be a big 4 and a 5, which will end. And of course, this one going lower will still agree with an RSI like this. This will still agree with RSI here. It will still agree with RSI here. But this looks entirely like a new structure here. This consolidation here looks entirely like a new structure. You can see this wave of a 3. And so in a Giphy, it falls within the same wave. It falls within the same wave before we had a break. So a 3 and a 5 here works perfectly before we now have this break out of this structure. So to me, we might be seeing a 4 or a beginning of a 2. So that is what I'm trying to say now. But seeing this one as a 4 is a bit also off because it's not yet a 2. If it's going to be a 2 of the old move, then it has to break the low of a 1. So if it stay within below this of 1, if it stays below it, then it is still this 4 that is playing out, and we're going to have a 5 that is going to the downside. So in that case, if it's going to now play out like that, you should be seeing this move we have to look at those scenarios playing out. So we can now say that a 5 should be stalling here or around this area, which still looks like a suspect because that would be a far cry from where we are going here, So I would still rather prefer this thing to come more upside before we even push to this side. So I'm still not a bit uncomfortable. I know that the direction of the price is still, we're still going down. We're still going down. I know that we're still going down. I'm still not just comfortable. We are going down. I'm still not just comfortable with what price is doing here. So I would rather want the price to still push up to this area of I would rather want to see price within this zone now. I would rather want to see price within this zone. Within this zone, but not more than this area, not more than that area. So, but the most likely point I want to consider entry is actually at this level, 99128. I'm not just comfortable, except if you want to just allow the drawdown, except that. I would rather prefer price to still come up to this area. I would still want price to come up to this area before I want to sell, if price is going to do that. So if price does that, I will be taking my big 2 here to go and do a 4, a 3. So I need to pick the height of the 2 first to call this a one. Something looks unfinished here. I'm not quite comfortable. Something looks unfinished here. And that's what I'm saying. So once the price still walks up to this area, once it does not break 99,650, we should still be seeing more downside. But something is not quite, complete for me around this area. So this may have finished 5, and this may just be A, B, and a C to the upside. And thereafter, we'll see more down. So I need to see what price would do. I'm not quite comfortable. Even though I know price will still be pushing to the downside, I'm not quite comfortable. That is what I'm selling to us here now. So that is what I'm selling to us here. This may have finished the whole of this wave here as a 1, and we may be seeing this movement to the upside as a 2. With this kind of a correction here, something is happening here. Is it a beginning of a new now? If this one is going to be where we don't want to go beyond here is this. I don't expect price to break lower than to start with 2 now. Price should not break lower here. Once price breaks this low, then it's a new wave. Then we are going down to break this low. We are going down to break this low. Is it what we are seeing here? What kind of correction are we seeing here? So if anybody still want to take any chances at whatever price is doing here, is to take a small risk and put a stop loss at this level. In case price breaks it, then we should now wait here to sell. Price may fall from here. That is what I'm saying. Price may fall from here. And this price falling from here does not look like what I expect. That is what I'm saying. Does not look like what I expect. If I take this one as a 1 and a low, a 2, this had done more than a 5, than a 50. I rather want to see price move up. That is why I don't want to trade this at this level. I may come up here, price may come up here, and I want to sell it. And if it takes me out, then I'm coming to make my sell here. So that is how to look at this. So this in the middle looks off. Of course, we are not coming to break this level now. I know that because this structure here is not complete for an ending structure. The present structure is not complete. Though on the time frame, we have done a 3, we have done a 2, we have done a 1. So we need to, and this is like a 4, we need to see a 5 off, which may actually end here or go a bit lower, but I'm still not comfortable. So these are, you must know the areas that you're not comfortable to just execute trade. These are the areas, if we had probably left our trade at this level and we allow ourselves to be taken out because we've been waiting for almost 2 weeks. I said, let's just take it out. We can't be waiting for 2 weeks and then we're now out on negative. But price for me, going inside this time frame, inside of this time frame, looks like a suspect. Price did this, and now this is the downside. It's still messy. It's still messy. It's still messy. So in a nutshell, we need to see what structure, or if you're going to take any trade, we are going to take a trade with, it has broken this one, this move to the upside even broke 85. So this one cannot be a 2. It cannot be a 2 of the final leg. It cannot be a 2 of the final leg. I think it's a correction for more upside that I'm seeing already. And this is likely to be a correction for more upside than I've seen. I would rather want to see this, an A and a B and a C and sell. That is my submission. And I'm going to rest here. That is my submission. This is a wicked correction here. These are corrective moves. I don't see this move yet as a move that wants to here and here. This move does not look like a move of a wave to end a 5. But I think we are doing a correction of this wave. we are doing a correction of this wave. This may be an A and a B and a more upside. So we're going to be watching what exactly is happening. So far price still stay within an 85 here. So price may just give us, this is 50 here. Price has done that. So far price, we should allow price to make a lower low and see where price is going to turn to the upside. Once we see price turn to the upside, then we can now look for a leg down. So that is what we can do. I can't see anything yet. Definitely, we're still going to see movement to the downside, but I don't want to engage price at this level. I think that is all for now. That is all for now. On the 4-hour, on the 1-hour RSI is really not telling us anything yet. This is a correction in between. So this could have been A, B, and C, but this one is not. Rather want it to come up here to finish this wave. But I won't be surprised if we still have a leg to the upside before we turn down. So we should be looking at what price is going to give us. And RSI on the 4-hour, you can see the way this moved sharply to the upside. On the 4-hour now, I think we will need to break these. So once we break this on the 4-hour now, once we break this, we might be looking for so we need to break this now. We might just be making the move to break that. This is actually out. That sequence is gone. So we need to undo this sequence now. This is a new sequence we want to undo. And unfortunately, this is not like a 4 or 5 situation. We are yet to see that. We're yet to see that this still looks like a 3 here, even at this side. So we need to see a 5 proper. So we need to be more careful with what we are going to do. These levels, price is in between. We need to be careful. We know what it's going to do ultimately, but the movement here would take your money. All right. Thank you.